This is the Good Neighbor Podcast, the place where local businesses and neighbors come together. Here's your host, Leila Carter.
Welcome to the Good Neighbor Podcast. Are you in need of a chiropractic clinic? One might be closer than you think. Today, I have the pleasure of introducing your good neighbor, Dr. Dave Radziercz with Pittsburgh Upper Cervical Chiropractic. Dr. Dave, how's it going?
It's going good, Leila. Thanks for having me on.
Thanks for being here. We're excited to learn all about you and your business. So please tell us more about your practice.
Sure. It's my wife and I that own the practice. Her name is Dr. Martina Carlini. We're co-owners and doctors, and our practice is called Pittsburgh Upper Cervical Chiropractic. Our goal is to provide safe, effective, personalized, specific upper cervical chiropractic care, with the goal being using fewer adjustments to deliver lasting results for the entire family. So we've actually been doing this for more than 17 years. We've had the privilege of caring for thousands of people in the greater Pittsburgh community, helping them find relief, restore their health, and most importantly, maintain it for the long term.
I love also that you guys get to share that together and build that legacy together. That's amazing. So how did you get into this business, Dr. Dave?
Good question. So I first got introduced to chiropractic when I was in college. I was studying molecular and microbiology at the University of Central Florida. And at the time I was working as a pharmacy technician, and I just saw how people would just be, taking different medications for treating a variety of different symptoms. And I started to question that concept. So personally, I had several health struggles that actually began to resolve as I shifted away from the traditional kind of medical care and went more towards like a holistic model. I found that I didn't get sick as often, sometimes if ever. I had improvements in my digestion. And then, that's how I got introduced to chiropractic. And then what really kind of made a lasting impression on me for upper cervical care was I had gotten an adjustment, received my first upper cervical adjustment, and I was actually holding that adjustment a week later. And typically I'd go to my regular full spine chiropractor and I'd need to get adjusted 2, sometimes 3 times a week. So that was really kind of impactful for me.
Absolutely. Yeah, I know personally I've seen the effects of a good adjustment, and it can change your whole day, can it?
Absolutely.
Yeah, very nice. And so are there any myths or maybe misconceptions in your industry that you'd like to talk about today?
Absolutely. I'd say a common misconception is, I think some people were hesitant to start chiropractic care because they feel like they have to do it for the rest of their lives. I will say that if we do a good enough job, you might feel like you want to integrate it, and for good reason. So my family and I have made the choice to receive chiropractic care for the rest of our lives. And, I try and bridge that gap and help to bring our patients to that point where they find that why that's an important thing to consider. But that doesn't mean getting checked, getting adjusted 3 times a week for the rest of your life. Sometimes it might just mean getting checked once a month or once every couple of months. Ultimately, it just depends on how well the patient's holding their adjustment. So that's actually one of the great benefits of what we do with upper cervical chiropractic care. Many of our patients get to a point where they're actually holding their adjustments for long periods of time, so they don't need to be checked and adjusted as often. And people like that.
Very good. And who are your target customers, and how are you attracting them to the chiropractic clinic currently?
That's a good question. So right now, our target customers are really anyone that is struggling with health concerns. So a lot of times we get a lot of patients who are apprehensive about receiving like a traditional type of adjustment. And so we offer a more specific approach where there's not all the twisting and the cracking and the popping sometimes associated with, different types of techniques. And so we work with, I would say the most common type of people that we see are going to be women, that have kids, that have extra stress in their life. They're having dizziness, they're having vertigo, they're having migraines, neck pain, back pain. And they're looking for a natural, holistic way to address that. And that's who we that's who we typically target. And we usually get our patients through, they find us via social media, they find us via our website. They get referred in by other media like TikTok. Somebody will be on TikTok talking about the benefits of upper cervical, and then we'll, they'll do a search, upper cervical chiropractor near me or upper cervical Pittsburgh. And then we show up and they come in and we have a conversation and we see if we can help them.
It makes sense that a lot of your target market is women because of the stress of motherhood on the spine is quite real. I mean, even I'm an aunt, and I know if I lift the kids wrong or kind of torque my back the wrong way, I mean, I'm out for a couple of days, if not a week. So that's totally understandable. And so have you ever thought about maybe doing your own podcast to reach your target audience?
Yeah, I've discussed that with my wife, because I always wonder, like, obviously the questions around surrounding doing your own podcast is like, who you're reaching, who's going to listen to that message, how far, is that message getting out, and who's actually interested in like listening to, a chiropractor talk about, health. I always wonder about the market for that, but I do think it's interesting. I mean, I know I listen to podcasts. I'm sure you do too, Leila. I'm sure lots of your listeners listen to podcasts. That's why we're here. So yeah, it's definitely something that we've discussed. Even just having something like a regular show that people can kind of tune in, connect, and get to know us a little bit better and work with us, or even get to know us a little bit better even before they start working with us. Absolutely.
Yeah. I think more and more we're seeing people push towards holistic approaches, right? And away from traditional or maybe modern medicine. And so I love that you can address them directly in a sort of format like this one. And so outside of work, Dr. Dave, what do you do for fun?
Sure. So typical stuff, usually it's just hanging out with family. Love hanging out with my family, Dr. Martina. And then we have 3 beautiful children, Augustino, Natalia, and Giovanna. I also like personally just going for walks, exercising, enjoy sitting down with my kids and watching, movies, comedies, superhero movies. Right now, the big buzz in our household is K-pop Demon Hunters. So we're blasting that soundtrack and watching that movie a couple times.
Very cool. So, Dr. Dave, please tell our listeners one thing that they should remember about Pittsburgh Upper Cervical Chiropractic.
That's a good question. I would say one thing to remember is that not every chiropractic office is the same. So every doctor, every patient's going to have unique experiences, and that's not unique to our profession. But what stands out, I think, for us, for upper cervical, is like when you come into our office, we don't treat you like a number. We sit down. Sometimes we spend a little too much time just talking with you, getting to know you better, getting to understand what brought you into the office. So I would say like the lasting impression is that if you come into our office, or even if you just talk with me on the phone, you're going to get a real person who's going to listen to you genuinely and get to understand you, pay attention to problem, and maybe offer some suggestions and be a partner with you. Even if you decide not to work with us, we'll try and help you find who you can work with that might be closer to you.
Absolutely. Well, thank you for the help that you're providing the citizens of Pittsburgh and getting to the root of their issues and their pain. It's so important for so many people here. So absolutely. I appreciate you.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it.
How can our listeners learn more about Pittsburgh Upper Cervical Chiropractic?
Yeah, so I'd say the most direct way and the place where you can get most information, if you just want to sit down and just look over some things, go to our website. It's www.pittsburghuppercervical.com. You are also welcome to give us a call. Our number is 412-766-0321. And then if you want to stop in during our office hours, our address is 8110 Ohio River Boulevard, and it's Pittsburgh, PA 15202. That's actually the Emsworth borough, but that's our address.
Excellent. Well, Dr. Dave, I very much appreciate your time today and having you as a guest on our show. We wish you and the practice the best moving forward.
I appreciate your time, Leila. Thank you so much.
Thank you for listening to the Good Neighbor Podcast. To nominate your favorite local businesses to be featured on the show, go to gnppittsburgh.com. That's gnppittsburgh.com or call 412-561-9956.